Joining us now is House of Delegates member Republican Dave Albo. Yes, there is a Republican in Northern Virginia. One does exist. That is Dave Albo, representing part of Fairfax County, the 42nd House of Delegates district. A diminishing trend there in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
Mike, Dave Albo, hanging by the skin of his teeth. There is a Republican in Northern Virginia.
For him, right?
But he's a conservative, which
even better.
Yeah, even better.
Unbelievable.
Dave Albo.
That's
right?
like
How does he do it?
Rare breed.
Very rare. Very almost extinct. Okay, Delegate Albo, now that we gave you that intro, good to have you with us here, sir.
Thanks. Nice to have him. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Anytime. All right, Delegate, let me set the stage here for what is going on with this violation of your ticket property rights, which has really got me fired up today. So all of our listeners know, right? TicketMaster is the beast of selling tickets, right? They got a huge market share. They're the beast of selling tickets. They had a competitor, and their competitor was called Live Nation, right? So you had two people selling tickets, so maybe you could get a better deal. Maybe instead of getting 10%, you pay 8%, try to get a better seat, right? But what happens when two companies are competing with each other and the only two companies out there, what do? They combine, so then they can form a monopoly. So Live Nation buys Ticketmaster, and now the company is called Live Nation and Ticketmaster combined. One company. Now, they have separate websites and separate this and separate that. So it's a ruse. They make you think it's two companies.
Fake.
But it's what? It's fake.
It's fake. It's the whole day.
Fake news. So this is all fake because it's only one company. And they're the primary seller of the ticket. They got a monopoly, right? You want to buy a ticket, you go to Live Nation, Ticketmaster, and you think they're competing, but they're not. It's all the same. So basically you get screwed. So you buy your ticket. They're the primary, right, ticket seller. Now, let's say you buy your ticket, and suppose you get the old days, right, like a month ago, right. You got a paper ticket. So that paper ticket, you could take it to the ball game. You could hand it in. You could give it to a friend. You could mail it to a friend. You could do anything you want with it. And if you couldn't go, then there was the secondary ticket resale market, which was companies like StubHub, right, where you'd go to StubHub legally, no scalping, right? So you go on StubHub, that's legal. You put your tickets there. StubHub charges 10%, whatever they charge. You know, they charge a processing fee. And so you can sell your tickets there, or you can give them to a friend. Now, here's what the gougers, the monopoly Ticketmaster and Live Nation do, okay? So they say, well, wait a minute. Why should we give this we have the primary ticket selling business a monopoly. Why should we not have the secondary business so we can charge whatever we want, right? Charge whatever we want.
Seems to make sense.
Right? So they concoct this scheme. This is a scheme. They concoct this scheme to prohibit your secondary sale of tickets. And the way they prohibit it is by saying, okay, no more paper tickets. And because, it's too much paper, hug a tree today, it's all going to be paperless. And so if you buy a ticket from Ticketmaster and you want to go to a concert, a football game, baseball game, basketball game, the circus, even though that's going on at business, whatever you want to buy, to get in, you got to show your Ticketmaster paperless email ticket. You got to show the credit card you bought the ticket with and your photo ID. So it's all going to match, which means there's no paper ticket, which means you can't go to StubHub or somebody else and resell it, which means you can't transfer it. You bought it, you own it, it's your property. And if I buy a ticket to
a massive
the Wizards
infringement
game
on your
tonight,
rights,
and I can't go, and I want to give the ticket to Mike Rubino or Dave Albo, I can't do that. I can't transfer it. Why? Because Ticketmaster wants me to sell it back through them so they can charge me a $20 processing fee, or the owner of the venue, the owner of the Redskins, Dan Snyder, well, he doesn't want me to give my season tickets away. He'd rather that he sell additional tickets to people that want to go, that can't get somebody to give them tickets, even though you're the property owner of the ticket. So basically, the consumer is screwed three ways that Wednesday. Now, Dave Albo, this has got me all fired up today because I buy tickets all the time and I can't go, right? I travel, things come up, and now I can't even give them away. I can't trade them. I can't sign. I got to go back through the monopoly gouger. Have I explained this, Delegate Albo? Have I been succinct and salient in explaining it?
Well, you have. I mean, the one thing to notice about the new system is now TicketMaster, to thwart the scalpers, has really become the scalper themselves, so they can capture profits on the resale. So the problem is that, they've created a system to try to thwart scalpers, but in the process, they've made the regular person who just wants to go to a show, it made it nearly impossible for someone to buy tickets unless they absolutely 100% sure know that they can make the show.
Okay, so Delegate Albo, isn't this a clear consumer protection property rights issue? I have purchased my ticket. I have paid for it. Is that not mine to do with it as I please?
Well, I believe it is. What Ticketmaster is going to say is that they have the right to make the rules for the way they sell tickets. And normally I would say that's correct, but that's only where there's a free market. There's no free market here. Ticketmaster nationally owns and runs about 70 to 80% of all the tickets. In Northern Virginia, I think it's higher. They have 100% monopoly over Redskin tickets, 100% monopoly over Caps tickets, or there's a venue where we live called Jiffy Lube Live. That place is owned by Live Nation, and of course, like you said, Ticketmaster and Live Nation are one. So when there's not a free choice in the marketplace, the government often steps in to set rules to make sure that consumers can be protected. And I believe that this is one of those situations where it is necessary for the government to go in and set up some rules to make sure that consumers don't get ripped off.
And Delegate Albo, this is all driven by the ruse of Live Nation Ticketmaster saying, you know what, no more paperless tickets. We're going to go to this electronic system because we don't want paper. It's going to save a tree and it's good for the environment. But the real reason they won't give you a paper ticket is because then you can transfer it to somebody else, even though you own it. They don't want you to do that. And look, if you're Dan Snyder and you own the Redskins, you don't like StubHub either. You don't want to be involved in that because if I got season tickets to the Redskins, I do not. But let's say I'm Chap Peterson. I got season tickets to the Redskins, right? Or I'm Ben Tribbett. And on any particular day, I'm out of town, I can't go, right? I want to give those tickets to a friend of mine. Dan Snyder, who owns the Redskins, Dave Albo, he'd prefer that the person that wants to go to the game buys any available tickets still out there rather than
Correct.
get one transferred to him. So they want to gouge their own fans. It's just unbelievable when you own the ticket. So
well, that's why, what my bill says basically is that when you purchase a ticket, it's your ticket. You can, establishes a property right in the ticket, and then that the seller of a ticket in Virginia cannot discriminate against people who want to transfer their ticket to another person. So basically it would allow you to sell your ticket or even give it away or give it to charity.
So you can't give it to charity. You can't do anything with it. And look, I've heard horror stories, Dave Albo, about people trying to get into a venue standing outside because they lost their credit card, right? It got changed, right? And it just happened, actually, it didn't happen to me with a venue, but just the other day, I was out somewhere at a gasoline station, left my credit card there, couldn't find it, called the bank, canceled it. We've all been through that. Get a new card. Now, if I had gotten the ticket with the old card, basically I'm just out the money because they're not going to let me in. So I've parked my car and I'm just going to be standing there in the cold. This is crazy.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is let's just say that, when I was trying to go see Iron Maiden and I couldn't go to it, and I said, hey, one of my friends want to go, and I give them the tickets, I have to give them, under the present system, either my ID, which I would never do, or my credit card. Now, most of my friends are going to turn that credit card into 10 beers, so I'm not giving my credit card to somebody just so I can give them a ticket. And so that's why we just want to, the bill that I propose basically brings the sale of tickets back to what it always was, that when you buy it, it's your ticket.
What is that, Dave? Explain what your bill is, how it works, who's sponsoring it, where it goes.
I'm sponsoring the bill. What it basically says is that when a ticket is sold to an event that's open to the public, that the seller of the ticket cannot put restrictions on the resale or transfer of the ticket after the person purchases it, which basically just brings it down to what everybody in the world thinks the law is, which is when I buy a ticket, if I can't go, I can either sell it to somebody or I can give it to somebody.
Right. So right now, there's no rules. There's no law governing this, right? No law.
Correct.
So basically, Live Nation and TicketMaster, who are the monopoly in this, are now just got up one day and said, this is a way we can corner the secondary resale ticket market. So everybody's got to go through us. StubHub's making all this money, getting a percentage of the sale. We're just going to charge everybody $20 if they want to resell. So we'll put StubHub out of business or anybody else like them. So now they want to license your ticket, much like selling you an airline seat, right? Sell you an airline seat, you just can't give it to somebody, name, ID, who you are, right, all that. So they want to license the ticket, and the way they do that, not by law, just by not giving a physical paper ticket. That's how they get around the resale issue, and they're saying it's for convenience, not giving a paper ticket, Dave, but it's really a complete ruse, screwing the consumer, right?
Well, I mean, you have it exactly right. So in Northern Virginia, TicketMaster sells about 70 to 80% of all the tickets in Northern Virginia. Live Nation owns the largest concert venue, Jiffy Lube. They own two medium-sized concert venues. TicketMaster sells tickets for MGM, which is a third medium concert venue, and now they say you can't resell your tickets. So the current situation is that they control 80% of the sale, they control nearly all of the venues, and now they control the resale market. This is just not, America runs on free enterprise and competition, and there is no free enterprise and competition, and that's why under the current law, Ticketmaster can set whatever rules they want because no one else has a choice. And so I think in that kind of situation, it's imperative that the government step in and make sure that there are rules to protect the public.
No, I think you're right, because so that everybody understands, Delegate Albo, on your legislation here, the losers of what is going on right now is every consumer in Virginia that buys a ticket to anything. They're the losers, right? The winners under what they're doing now, there's only two winners, and that's Live Nation and TicketMaster, the new company under Live Nation and TicketMaster. They're the winner under this no physical tickets because you can't resell it to someone else. You have to go through them. If you want to resell it, you have to go back through them. So they get the processing fee instead of StubHub or someone else. So they basically reap all that. They corner both ends of the market, primary sale and secondary sale. So they win. The other winners then are the Dan Snyders of the world, the owners of the venue that want to control ticket giveaways. Because, again, let's get back to Chap Peterson. I'm Senator Peterson. I've got Redskins tickets. I can't make it 1 week. He calls me. I'm like, yeah, I want to go. So he says, all right, I'll give you my 2 tickets. You can take your son. What Dan Snyder wants to say is, no, they're not transferable. They're paperless. You can't do that. You can resell them, but you can't do that. And so if John Fredericks and his son wants to go to a Redskins game, they can't take Chad Peterson's ticket. They got to go to Ticketmaster, and they got to buy a ticket and spend $250, right? So the venue owner wins.
In other words,
Dan Snyder wins.
They force people who want to go to see an event to buy a ticket when there's a ticket available on the open market, but they've restricted the transfer. So, guys, I have to run to a budget hearing, but I just wanted to thank you very much for having me on, and I really am very honored that you would realize how important this bill is. I mean, not really a silly topic. I mean, it's really protecting the public.
No, Dave, look, I appreciate your taking this on. You need to fight for this because this, to me, it's free market. it's property rights, it's consumer protection, because the monopolists win and the people lose, and I think it's absolute BS, and we need to do something about it. Dave, do you have a co-sponsor in the state Senate?
Yeah, I think we do, but I don't know who it is off the top of my head.
All right, well, you work on somebody. Call Chap Peterson up. He'll back you on it, or Scott Servell or George Barker. One of those guys will back you there in Northern Virginia, because this is a populist issue, right? Everybody buys tickets, and they're trying to get slammed through this monopoly. Dave, what really irks me is the way they're presenting it is a complete and utter lie, which makes me even madder. So keep fighting the good fight. We're going to be following
Thanks,
this
guys.
down, Dave.
Have a great
All right,
day.
we
Hope
gotta
you
take
enjoy
off.
Northern Virginia. We'll see you.